right, you guys. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to go ahead and move back here so I can do this lab for you. This is going to be the flame test lab where we're looking at different spectra of different elements when they are burned. And so I'm going to go ahead and fire this thing up. Okay. Right now it looks a little bit invisible when I move out from behind it. All right. So you should be able to see a little bit. Now I'll put this over here. You can't really see that. How about that? So when you put something behind it, you can kind of see the flame. All right. So keeping that in mind, what you're looking for is not the color that it is right now. It's the color that it's going to be. All right. And so when we put things in front of this, we should see an obvious change in what we've got going on. And to start off, hopefully you've got our worksheet in front of you for this lab. If I gave this to you in class, it would look like this and have a grid on there. That way you can go ahead and do your observations on those. So very quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of chemical here. And I'm going to put a little bit of eye protection on. All right. And so we're going to start off. It's not the top on your list, or maybe it is. It's barium. So the actual name of the chemical that I'm using for this is barium hydroxide. And so I'm applying a little bit of solid to the end of these sticks. My solution didn't come out super strong for this. And so I had to resort to this so you could actually see the color of it. And so right here, I'm going to take this. I'm going to put this over in front of this flame. Now you see some yellow. Okay. And so there's some orange mixed in, but you see yellow. All right. Now I want to make sure that you understand when I take just a regular stick and I put that in the fire, it comes out an orange flame just because it's now on fire. Okay. And so what we look for the chemicals is a little bit of difference in that. We're not looking for the stick burning, right? And so one more go at that. Put a little bit more barium hydroxide on there. Okay. And once again, that color that you're looking for on this is yellow. Okay. So we'll take that, put that back, close this up because we're done with it. Okay, and scoot that over to the side. Next thing down your list, you see cobalt. Cobalt, we're using cobalt chloride, and I'm going to get some more sticks for this because the last time that I did this, I kind of used quite a bit trying to get you to see what you're supposed to see on this. So we'll see if these old sticks will work or whether I'm going to have to use some new ones. Now, once again, you're looking for something different than just the stick being on fire, right? The stick looks like this. You're looking for something different. Okay? And so it's really tough to see. So let me get some fresh sticks on there. I don't think my solution is as concentrated as it should be. And so let me work these through here. And you should see some little sparks coming through. Okay, that's what you're looking for. Okay, little orange sparks. I'm going to try it one more time. Okay, now in person, it's really easy to see them because they are more brilliant than the orange flame that kind of comes around it from the stick catching fire. That it's very obviously sparking. All right, and so that's going to be cobalt for that. The next one that we've got on there is potassium. Potassium is usually one of the crowd favorites. So we're working down that list. And so pay very close attention for this one. Okay, that is pink. Okay, and a lot of people like that because they are not used to seeing a pink flame. Now, if you've ever seen fireworks that have pink in them, then it's most likely because they use some potassium in there. So potassium, that's going to be pink on your observations. All right. So the next thing as we go down the list is calcium. Now, I don't have the calcium mixed up, but the calcium is going to be very similar to this one. This is going to be sodium. So you're kind of skipping over iron, and this is going to be your observation for both sodium and calcium. And this is going to be very bold, very obviously something in that flame. Okay. And as you notice, my sticks are not burnt. That is literally the solution being burnt there. Okay. This is one of the easiest ones to see. It's very, very bold, but people don't like it as much just because, oh, that's boring. It's an orange flame. We see orange flames all the time. All right. But it is because of salt being on there. The same salt that you put on your food, that's what this is. All right. So put down that observation of brilliant orange, bright orange, for your calcium and your sodium. All right. The next thing that we're going to do is iron. Okay. That's this yellowish orangish solution right here. And so once again, this one's going to be a little tougher to see. So you do your best. And I know the camera doesn't pick this up super, super well. I put this in here. And I should see some sparks kind of through that flame. Okay. And so that should be very similar to something that you've seen already. Okay. Some brighter spots throughout that. Okay. Once again, tougher to see on the stream, tougher to see on the YouTube video here. But you got to take my word for it. There's some sparks going through that flame. All right. Let's take a look then past sodium. Now we're going to copper. Once again, this is one that a lot of people like. Okay. You can kind of see that something cool is going to go on because the solution is blue. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and mix this through. And we're going to put that in the flame and cue the oohs and the ahs because it's green. All right. Those of you that like Maleficent, that's usually the kind of flames she had in the original Disney version of Cinderella when she turned into that gigantic dragon. All right. And so very cool stuff. That is copper. So make sure you write down green flame as your observation there. Once again, think fireworks for this. And we now go to lithium and strontium. Okay, last but not least, it is harder to see this on the stream just because of the spectrum that it produces. So we're going to take a look, and I'm going to tell you what you should see. Okay, this should be a reddish flame. Okay, now we're getting to where we're burning the stick, but I'm going to try to get as much of that on there as I can. Okay, that's a reddish flame. Okay, okay, I got to compare that to the sodium. It's not orange because that's orange. This is not entirely the same. Okay, so sodium, strontium. Okay, it's red. So write down red for that observation. Okay, now we move on to lithium. Okay, so lithium, and it looks like I kind of went out of order, but that's fine because you'll see that when I do lithium, lithium looks like the strontium did. So I'm going to compare this once again with the sodium. Sodium, lithium. Okay, brighter, darker. All right, this is red, tougher to see on the camera, but trust me, with your eyes, you can see it a whole lot better. All right, so that gets us to the bottom where you have unknown 1 and unknown 2. Now, if we were doing this in class, you would have things labeled as unknown 1 and unknown 2. And so you would end up with this trying to figure out what that is. Okay. And you would see little sparks in it. And so, based on your observations, you would narrow this down to one or the other of what you got going on. You would have to identify it based on what you already saw in the previous things. And the other one would look like this. This would be unknown 2. Okay. And so, once again, you would base your previous observations on what you put here and say, which one did that look like? And so you could at least narrow it down to 2. For the second one, there would be 2. And for the first one, there would be 2 that you might be able to narrow it down to. Now, if you saw the stick at the end of that unknown 1, and you had noticed what happened to the stick at the end of that previously, I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm going to dip that in this, and I'm going to kind of burn that up a little bit. And then I'm going to show you what actually happens to the stick. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of blue, a little bit of greenish blue on those sticks. And that's going to be very characteristic of the one that we use to do that. And so do make sure that you use everything at your disposal. If you need to go back in this video and figure out what's going on, this thing's always going to be there. So make sure you do that. Make sure you use good lab safety. Make sure if you're done with the flame, you turn it off. And as always, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time.